Welcome in to YARD39, a cloud podcast between Lance and myself. We started talking about this a few weeks ago, and it's just football is one of many interests we have to share. So we're both obviously into gaming and video games and anime and that whole bit. But then I remember when I popped into Lance's stream for the first time, I saw he was wearing a Chiefs hat, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, I'm a huge Chiefs fan. Here we are. So we're excited to get this going. It should be a 16-week series or longer. We plan to do it once a week, but bear with us on that, and we'll kind of see how it goes. We might end up flipping channels back and forth. We're not completely sure, but stay tuned for like details and when it's gonna go live. That time's gonna change a little bit each week as well as I kind of work myself back into my new work schedule and everything like that. So, Lance, welcome. Introduce yourself. I mean, I guess, guys, Lance is a wonderful streamer. He focuses on a lot of Pokemon content, but I'll let you take it from there.
Welcome everybody. Lancelot Gaming. That's how you can find me on Twitch and most other social media platforms. I've recently switched over to playing a lot of Pokemon content on my channel, but we still do some Apex and Smite and some other things with the boys. I have a couple other podcasts that I do, but mostly I'm just here to vibe and have fun. And I hope you guys really enjoy our podcast. Should be a lot of fun if you're into football.
Wait, when is the podcast happening? Every Sunday? Once a week. It could probably. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but it'll. We'll try to do it as often as we can. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, if you aren't yet following Lance, please go do so. Phenomenal streamer, friend of the channel, just a overall great guy. Look at all that Chiefs swag my guy's rocking over here. Let's go. He's ready.
I'm a little bit of a, I guess, obsessed is not the word that I choose to use, but
just supportive.
Supportive, exactly.
What's the Chiefs? All right.
It's all good.
So, what else? I mean, I guess we can just start knocking out things on the agenda. I don't know if I had anything off the top that I specifically want to go into, but
do you want to do anything more like introducing like our favorite teams or how we got into
sure,
football, anything like that?
Yes, let's do it. So, a lot of you are obviously, if you're here, you know me, but my name is SwagMonstaFlexx. SwagMonstaFlexx. I'm an aspiring content creator. I need more coffee, man. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights, and also we'll be doing this once a week. Sunday nights we do Heating Up, my other podcast that is a very much a variety podcast. Tonight we'll actually be talking murder mysteries and playing beer pong with Tabado Live, so I'm excited for that. So I'll hope to see you guys there for that. Tuesdays and Thursdays it's all gaming, so it could be either community games, it could be solo games, it could be Apex, it could be a lot of different things. But come see us for that. We're playing some Genshin this week, which I'm pretty excited about. So yeah, man. So tell me about like how did you get into football? Like, what do you like about it? Why is it a special thing for you? And just anything that we need to know.
So the reason that I'm a Chiefs fan is
Why?
I was born in Missouri, so that's my home state team.
Okay.
I moved out to Idaho, 20 some odd years ago now, but I bleed red and gold. I have my entire life. I got into football basically. My parents have always both been into it. They watched football every Sunday, so that was something we could do as a family. And then, back when I was a kid, playing football in the street in front of my buddy's house, that was another, thing that I used to connect and make friends and everything. So it's always been very close and dear to me. Something that I've, been into since I was, a wee little lad. So it grew from just something that I watched on Sundays to, I don't know, there's a special feeling that I get when I watch a game of football that it feels so much different than anything else. It's a crazy like adrenaline rush, the highs, the lows, just the passion that I feel for the sport. It's unlike anything else, and I've grown to love it so much. It's one of my favorite things in the world now. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
very excited to be able to do a podcast on it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I got into football when I was young. My dad is a big Chiefs fan, and then I think kind of follows suit as well as my grandparents. I remember I beat my grandparents. And like my team was, or when I first had, they had like Trent Green, Priest Holmes, like
Oh
Eddie
my god,
Kennison,
the Dick
Dante,
Vermeil days.
yeah, Dante Hall, like all those guys, and then it just kind of took off from there. And then I've kind of grown into. We got a Raiders fan in the chat, so great.
uh,
But Tony Gonzalez, yes, those are yeah, Willie Rolfe, just like so many good players. It's such a fun team to watch. Trent Green was a phenomenal quarterback, the best quarterback I think we had since Patrick Mahomes,
Honestly,
in my
yeah,
opinion.
we could have been winning Super Bowls back then if Dick Vermeil knew how to build a defense.
Yeah, well, our defense was god awful, but it's
I still remember the no punt game versus the Colts in the playoffs. That was one of Peyton Manning's first years. That
fucking
was
Peyton
horrible.
Manning. Yeah. Never for the Jimmy G. But yeah, no, it's a special sport for me too. It's a time of the year I always look forward to. I think football is great in a lot of ways because it brings people together on Sundays and you can kind of hang out with your friends, and it's very much just a day to relax and enjoy each other's company and something you can all root for in the same team. So it's an interest of mine, and I'm glad I get to share that with you Lance, and all you guys hanging out with us. So um, we know this is going to be a podcast for everybody, but it gives us an opportunity to kind of talk about a shared interest that we both have, right? You know, a lot of our content that we create is focused on gaming and anime, things like that. But you know, this is something different that I thought would be fun, and I think Lance thought the same thing. So, um,
Absolutely.
let's get into it. I mean, so we got the new season underway. It starts on Thursday. We have the Bucks versus the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. What are you most excited about for this season? What are you going to get into? And Chad, what are you guys most excited about as well? I mean, what's going on?
So starting with that game, I guess specifically, my hands are kind of tied. I definitely don't want to see the Bucks win, given what they did to my team, our team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Plus, just fuck Tom Brady. But also, I absolutely hate the Cowboys. I've hated the Cowboys for forever,
yeah,
and I don't know what to do about that game. I don't want either of them to win. I guess a tie is the best thing you can hope for. Um, as far as what I'm excited for the season, man, it's honestly just it's the vibes. It's having fun. It's watching the sport. I love playing fantasy football. I actually have my fantasy draft later tonight. Um, that's another super interactive fun thing I love to do with my friends. All 10 of us usually try to get together, watch the games together, all that stuff. Bullshit, talk shit. Um, yeah, but I'm just it's 4 months out of the year. That's my favorite 4 months out of the year.
yeah,
I'm just excited for the energy, man.
yeah.
It's
I just going with something that Gig said, the disgusting and nauseating fan base that is the Cowboys makes me want to fucking throw a brick through my window every time they start talking about football, because it is like, you know, guys, for context, like, you know, the football season starts in September, ends in the Super Bowls in February, right? So
mm-hmm.
that's what the football season is. In June, the Cowboys are always the best season when there's no football being played.
Oh, of
And
course.
like in May, in June, and in August, of course, they're the best football team. They're gonna have the
They're
number one air
America's
raid
team.
off it. They're America's team.
Ugh.
You know, we're gonna do whatever the HBO series is on them, and like they're just like the most annoying, nauseating fan base, because like the false hope, and like the thing is frustrating about the Cowboys. Can I go into the first game here? One, I think the Bucks are gonna whoop that ass. Two, Dak Prescott, the quarterback there, hasn't played a down since he broke his leg in half.
It was like week 3 or week 4, I believe, when that happened. So it's been almost a full calendar year.
Same with the Raiders, but yeah, I mean, kind of. But Raiders, I mean, also, I heard a statistic the other day on the Raiders. So the Raiders haven't won more than 8 games in a season with John Gruden there.
I think
But
that's funny. They haven't
uh,
even made the playoffs since John Gruden became the head coach.
I don't think so. Yeah.
$100 million, and so far 4 or 5 years in, that's been
Yeah.
a complete waste of money.
Raiders game, my nightmare is Dastard, don't even. Dak Prescott is my favorite. Oh my gosh. He makes good commercials, and I actually don't mind Prescott. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think he's a little overhyped, in my opinion. But I'm also biased because I have the best quarterback in the league playing for my team.
Preach it.
But no, I think game one, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see. There was the rookie linebacker. No, not me. For the Cowboys. What's his name, Lance?
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Put me on the spot.
so they were like, what's Tom Brady's weakness? And then the rookie was saying Tom Brady's weakness is the fact that he's immobile. And I'm like, oh man, that guy's played 21 years in the league, won
Parsons.
7 Super Bowls, and you're going and pointing out Tom Brady's weakness right now. It just sounds funny to me, right? I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I think I give it up to him. I think he's the best quarterback of all time right now. He does have 7 rings, but at the end of the day, Tech, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. At the end of the day, like you kind of just have to give it up to him in that sense. But I just don't think it's very wise for a rookie to be talking shit on Tom Brady or saying he has a weakness when, dude, you haven't even played it down. This guy's been playing 21 years. Twice Cupcake, thank you for the follow. Let's go.
It's part of that cowboy confidence, huh?
Yeah, it's just odd to me, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It's just I don't know if something you should get into it. But who do you think is going to win that game? I guess just kind of talking on this game specifically.
Like you said, Tampa Bay's going to smoke them. I don't even think it's going to be close.
Why do you think so?
I mean, we'll have to see how Dak Prescott comes back after his injury, but I don't think he even played in the preseason at all, right? Because they're still rehabbing him. Yeah, well, so I mean, I assume that he's going to be rusty, and then I mean, we'll have to see how their Micah Parsons and their rebuilt defense or whatever do, but their defense was like one of the worst in NFL history last year.
Yeah.
So I have no confidence that they can stop that offense. They still have Antonio Brown. They still have Brady. Gronk is still there. They still have a great offensive line. They have one of the best offenses in football for sure. And if Dallas's defense is just as bad as it was last year, they don't really have a chance.
I think the thing that's kind of funny though is, I give it up to the Bucks. I think they won the Super Bowl last year. I think there was a little bit of luck involved there. I think they would have had a tougher time getting around Aaron Rodgers and the Packers if it wasn't for that the miscoaching and the mishandling of that last drive there. I also think on the Super Bowl, I mean, we didn't have either of our starting tackles, or the Chiefs didn't have either starting tackles, and like Patrick Mahomes, there was a stat that he ran 400 yards total in the game before throwing the football. Ferry with the big rate of 18.
Welcome in, Raiders.
Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much for being, dude. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, guys. Lance, if you want to go and do a quick introduction for yourself real quick, just to let the Raiders know what's going on.
Oh, sure. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Lancelot Gaming. You see it on the screen. That's how you can find me on Twitch and most other platforms. I'm a member of the community, a member of the Flex fam.
Yes.
I stream a lot of Pokemon content, but I also do, some Apex, Smite, some other things with the boys, and here to talk about football.
Let's go. Yeah, guys, my name is SwagMonstaFlexx. I'm an aspiring content creator. I've been doing this about 10 months now. We have a wonderful community. This is actually episode 1 of YARD39, a new podcast focusing on professional football. It's an interest that Lance and I share. Obviously, we're into gaming and anime and all sorts of other things, but this gives us a chance to kind of collaborate and talk about another interest that we have. So I hope you guys like the content. If you do, hit that follow button. It's always appreciated. And Ferry, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a wonderful stream, and feel free to talk to us and ask any questions, guys. So
it's actually a little bit refreshing so far to have been able to actually just talk about football and sports, because in the anime and gaming community, there's not that many people that are super passionate about it.
No,
there's obviously a few. You see them every once in a while. You see them around, but it's not like a focused thing on.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, in my own regular streams, I mean, we'll talk about sports. Like Anubis and I will talk about basketball from here and there, and things like that. But I am very passionate. Right. Yes, guys, welcome in everybody. But yeah, it's nice to kind of like get back into it because it is something I really enjoy talking about. But so yeah, going back to the Cowboys, the Bucks games, first game of the season, starting on Thursday night. Yeah, I think Dak coming off of like that catastrophic injury, it being his kind of first game back since that, which I imagine that's 9-10 months ago, hasn't played a real down, even a preseason snap. I think that pass rush that the Bucks have is going to be a lot. Them returning all 22 starters, both sides of the ball, I think is going to be a lot. I think it's just going to be hard for them to kind of come out of that. Unless I think Zeke has to have a big game for the Cowboys to have a chance. So that's
actually a funny stat on that I saw the other day is that apparently the last 4 years in a row he's been steadily declining. It's gotten worse and worse and worse every year over the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, so he's actually kind of fallen off a little bit, but I know this year he came back. He's lost a lot of weight. He's in shape.
Right.
Running backs kind of typically start hot and then kind of go downhill. Not all do. Some get better throughout their career, but that's something.
Also,
to keep
when Zeke first got there, like the Cowboys maybe had the best offensive line in football. It was definitely the most expensive offensive line in football, and they've had some injuries and they've had some free agent losses as far as their offensive line goes. So I think I'm not saying Zeke was a product of that offensive line. He's obviously still incredibly talented, but I definitely think that helped his numbers in the early part of his career.
Tashi says, I know very little about football, but I have to support my Texans.
The Deshaun Watson situation, that's rough.
That's an interesting organization. We don't have to talk about it, but they're a religious organization. There's a whole lot going on with that organization that I find interesting. Have you read anything about that?
Oh yeah, I've heard so many things about it. I can't remember their general manager's name off the top of my head, but apparently he's brought in like religious pastors or whatever you call them that had like sermons and everything, and like team preaches and whatnot. Yeah, if you're not a religious person, I can imagine that makes that environment kind of rough to be in. But I mean, I think personally there should be kind of like a separation between that kind of stuff, but that's like a whole different topic.
Yeah, especially that's all I was for. Yeah, I mean, Zero, back to the running back thing real quick. Yeah, Derrick Henry is going. Yeah, he's one who definitely has like gone like this and really progressed his career in the right direction. I think we all thought he was gonna be good when he came into the league, but he's just like he's a stud.
Right.
It's a big boy. You don't want to fuck with him. So, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I would say that Deshaun just likes a good massage. Like Johnson. Oh my gosh, that's so bad, dude. That's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, man.
I don't know what was going on with the Texans. Well, so in their quarterback, and it's not proven yet. It's under investigation by the FBI, the state of Texas, and the NFL currently is being accused of sexual assault and 23 different massage parlors. Yeah. So it's sad because Deshaun Watson, I think, was the quarterback next to Patrick Mahomes I really looked up to, and I thought had a great career ahead of him. But
as far as like young up and coming quarterbacks,
yeah, just being sort of like talented and like I think before all that happened, I don't think there was any other quarterback on the market that had more trade value outside of Patrick Mahomes than Deshaun Watson. So it's crazy to see all that. But anyway. Next topic. So
Nick Caserio, thank you. That was the Texans GM name.
So I kind of want to talk about some of the quarterback controversies we got going on.
Okay.
Lance, what was your thought about the Patriots cutting Cam Newton to start ultimately Mac Jones? Chat, I'd love to hear you as well. Codex, to answer your question, we will both be picking the Bucks on that one. Yes, we both picked Tampa. So
we're gonna have to relay that information here. So as far as the Cam Newton situation goes, so I'm gonna try to keep my personal opinions out of this. I've never been the biggest fan of Cam Newton as like a person, but as far as the actual situation goes, I mean, I think it makes sense to start Mac Jones. It sucks that Cam had to get cut for it, but he just hasn't looked the same over the last couple of years. So the Panthers make Super Bowl 50 against the Broncos, right? And then Cam was, like an MVP front runner. I think he might have even won MVP that year.
I think he did.
But ever since that year, man, I think the next year was when he got his really bad injury, and then he just hasn't looked the same ever since. He can't throw the rock the way that he used to. You know what I mean? His arm does not look strong. He's not accurate anymore. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He's on the wrong side of 30 now, and I remember multiple games. I haven't watched much this preseason, to be fair, but I remember multiple games last year. He, seems like he can barely get the ball out, 30 yards. He just doesn't have it anymore. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get it back. Maybe he needs to just take an entire year off to recover. But as far as Mac Jones, I did watch some of his highlights and plays this preseason, and he looks good, dude. He's making all the throws. He looks like he has a good grasp of the offense, and I think that it was a smart decision for them in the long run.
So here's what I think. I would I think Cam still has a lot of football in him. I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I think he got the short end of the stick in several situations. I think going back to his injury with Carolina, before that he was completing over 65% of his passes, which is a pretty high standard. And
65%.
And when he got hurt, they were 6-2. He's out the rest of that year, or just a shell of himself. I think he did come back towards the end, but obviously being a shell of himself and fighting injury. He then gets cut later by the team. He then goes to the Patriots in a COVID year, no preseason, no OTAs, no. I mean, he's not practicing with his team. It's not like a regular year. None of that chemistry is there, and I think that can hurt a lot of people. Started out last year. They were 2 plays away in 2 different games. 1 play away in 2 different games from winning the game. So they won 7. They went 7-9 last year. They could have ended up being 9-7 should Cam come back, and he got COVID. So in the middle of the season, so was out for 2 games. They actually gave the Chiefs a hell of a game when I think Brian Hoyer was their quarterback.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
that was still a close game.
That was a close game. So the Patriots also had all those opt-outs on defense last year. I think he had a rough go of it kind of had some bad luck involved in his career as well. I guess what I'm trying to say. So that said, I mean, he looked actually. And I listened to a lot of professional football podcasts, and from what I understand, and just watching the preseason games myself, he is actually playing pretty well, and he didn't lose the job. Mac Jones just won the job, is like what I like to think, and what the way it is interpreted to me. I think he played well enough. I don't think he played terribly wrong. I think Mac Jones he did play really, really well. They scored on every drive. Mac Jones played this preseason. They either scored a touchdown or scored a field goal, and that's pretty great for a rookie quarterback. Yeah, right. So I didn't expect them to cut him, but I can see from Cam Newton's aspect, being a NFL MVP, and just being the persona that he is. I think he's a big personality guy, right?
Absolutely.
I think they are doing him a favor, saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and cut you. But I just don't know what's next for Cam after this. So, I mean, I think he's probably borderline a starting quarterback, depending on which way his career goes. I think he's going to have to become that much better of a pocket passer. I think his mobility is going to obviously decrease the older he gets. I'm just I don't know where he goes in the NFL from now. I think what's going to happen with his career is someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to tear their ACL, someone's going to have a season-ending injury in terms of the quarterbacks for one of the 32 teams, and I think he gets picked up then. But yeah, so.
Right, I completely agree. Cam's he's not an upper echelon quarterback anymore. I think the days of him being in MVP conversations and stuff are over. he has been a quality NFL starter for a long time, though. I know he still has a really good like knowledge base of the game, and so I absolutely agree. I definitely think there's teams like the Giants, for example, with Daniel Jones. Like, this is going to be year 4 of the Daniel Jones experience, and if he performs, as bad as he has the last couple of years, leading the league in turnovers and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised to see, a team like that with a fringe level quarterback give Cam a shot. But at the very bare minimum, I think he'd make a really, really quality backup on pretty much any team.
Oh, as far as backup goes, I think he'd probably be the best backup in the league. I can't really think of a backup quarterback situation. Maybe like Nick Foles might be able to give him a run for his money.
Right.
Fitzpatrick has been like a borderline backup quarterback for most of his career. You know what I mean? So
he's actually going to be the starter in Washington this
year.
year.
Which would be interesting. I thought the Cowboys. There was talk of like the Cowboys going and picking up Cam, just with the Dak Prescott kind of shoulder injury, coming off the leg injury, just giving him a little more time to progress, maybe, if he needed it. But if the Chiefs were even to go out and pick up Cam, I'd be like, okay. I mean, he's not going to start, but I don't think it's that big. I don't think it's that big of slight to one's ego to sit behind Patrick Mahomes. I think you'd be like, all right, he's really good at football, like.
Well, so that's the thing about Cam is his personality and his whole, his Superman and just him wanting to be the face of a franchise and everything. His swag that he always rolls out with his outfits. He's a very big personality. He's a very big presence. You know what I mean? So I think for him to be the best teammate and to fit into a backup role well, he's gonna have to temper that. He's going to have to dial it back a little bit. He's going to have to get used to and accept the fact that he's not Superman anymore. It's not his team. He's there to play, the relief pitcher role. And he's just going to have to be okay with that if he's ever going to be a quality backup.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next aspect of his career. But I think the guy I think he's charismatic enough. I think there's a lot of things for him to do after football. I wouldn't,
Absolutely.
I think he's probably good enough in front of a camera to where he could be an analyst. He probably understands the game on a really, really high level, obviously, just through experience.
He could maybe even be like an actor or whatever. I mean, he does have a big, boisterous personality. I could see him, starring next to like Kevin Hart, in or something.
For sure. Let's get into Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. So, a little backstory on this chat if you don't know. And Code, we'll give you a heads up on when we're gonna do pick 'em. That would be the last thing we'll do, and we'll just kind of go through that schedule I sent you. But I'll ask Lance. I'll make my pick, and then chat. You guys will be able to make your picks as well in polls.
Thank you for doing that for us, by the way, Code.
Yeah, Code, you S tier. Turn a Cam into a tight end. Well, we're not going to talk about Tebow. Okay, and also Tebow and Cam shouldn't be mentioned in the same sentence. They're different quarterbacks. No. Yeah, like I don't think Cam's that great of a quarterback. I think he has definitely had his highs, and I think his ceiling it was pretty high.
Absolutely.
His floor is Tebow's ceiling, though. I'm just gonna make that,
that's probably true.
Make that clear.
I would actually totally agree with that.
But
that whole tight end thing in Jacksonville, that was just a fiasco. That was a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody actually thought that was going to work out.
Washington needs to pick a name already. They're such a fucking. I remember when that change happened. So so prior, for context, prior to the Washington Football Club is now named. Prior, they were called the Washington Redskins. I mean, and obviously that's viewed as derogatory for a lot of people, and rightfully so. That's a terrible name, and they should have changed it a long time ago. So
I completely agree.
So I'm glad they made that change, but they went to the Washington Football Club, and I'm like, God, that's like worse than the fucking Browns name. Like it's bad.
Apparently just a placeholder until they actually figure out what their new brand is going to be going forward.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It really is. Can you imagine though? Like, let's just say, for example, they would have won the Super Bowl last year. They would have gone down in history as the Washington football team won the Super Bowl. Like that would have been hilarious, honestly.
Ruby, I love the football club. But yeah, so backstory back to Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. So the Chicago Bears have never really had a good quarterback, like in history.
Jay Cutler was okay at
Yeah,
his prime.
but like, you know what I mean?
Above average, but he's
Yeah,
never been great.
he's a at his prime, he's a B quarterback.
Yeah, I'd say that.
But anyway, so yeah, so last year I think they were starting Nick Foles for part of the season. And what was the kid's name over there?
Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky, who now I don't even know his situation. He plays.
He's the backup in Philadelphia, I think.
In Philly, he is.
I think he's in Philly.
I
know he's a backup somewhere. I want to say Philly off the top of my head, but I could be wrong.
Chat, where's Mitchell Trubisky at now? Can someone look that up for us? Bruh, that people say it's derogatory, but there's a lot of people change the name. Yeah, for sure. Name changes aren't really difficult though. So one thing I think is interesting about the whole situation. So they had Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles last year. The Chicago Bears did. They still went to the playoffs. They have a phenomenal defense, and led by Khalil Mack, and just a great secondary. And their front seven is awesome, right?
Kyle Fuller's one of the best corners in the league. For
yeah,
sure.
he's a stud. They have weapons on offense. They don't have a great offensive line. So this year, they, as a lot of you know or don't know, they are gonna go ahead and start Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton started with the Bengals. He played there for a number of years. I don't know any. I'm imagining 6, 7, 8 years.
6 or 7, I think, is right.
Yeah, played poor enough. I mean, I think the Bengals is a poorly run franchise anyway, and I don't think it was all his fault. Got released by the team, went to the Cowboys for 1 year. Actually ended up playing for the Cowboys last year. Was god awful for a variety of reasons. Some his fault, some not. And then got picked up by the Bears and was now announced the starter a few weeks ago. The Bears also drafted Justin Fields. Justin Fields was the starting quarterback at Ohio State last year. Has played great in the preseason. Just done a phenomenal job.
He looked so good in the preseason.
Yeah.
He looked so good.
And he got sacked one time where he got fucking pancaked. I mean, like, the guy was like backing up, boom, like got fucking ran over by a defensive lineman. And ever since then, they're like, I think we're gonna wait to start him. Their reasoning being because their offensive line is terrible and they're just not ready yet. Him being a rookie, they want him to develop a little more. Lance, what's your overall thoughts on the whole situation? What would you do? And chat, what would you do as well?
So as far as that goes, just to give Andy Dalton the benefit of a doubt and a little bit of credit, he did lead the Bengals to the playoffs 4 years in a row, being the starter in Cincinnati. So I mean, he never won a playoff game, but at the very least, has been competitive and led, teams to the playoffs before. Last year in Dallas, that entire team was a wreck. He kind of got just thrown into the fire. No one expected Dak Prescott to get hurt the way that he did. So I don't really give him too much flack for that. But as far as being the starter in Chicago, I'm wondering how much of him being just the starter no matter what, I'm wondering how much of that has to do with the fact that Matt Nagy, their head coach, was in Kansas City when Patrick Mahomes got drafted. He saw Patrick Mahomes sit for a year behind Alex Smith.
I hate the
learn, understand the game, figure thing out, train more, practice more. Came in a second year, took the league, over, set the world on fire. I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to be able to do that, but I'm wondering how much they're hoping that, the longer that they sit and let him wait, the better that he'll be when he finally gets a starting opportunity.
Right.
Because clearly he's flashing all the signs that he understands the game and has really big playmaking ability. But if it were me, I'd probably start him right now. but
Yeah.
I still can see merit to the, letting him sit and learn and develop a little bit more. But I think, like, let's say we get 5 games into the season, right? And the Bears are 2-3 at that point. Do you pull Andy Dalton and start Justin Fields? Like, how long is the leash here? Because the fan base is going to be going crazy. They're going to be just screaming for Justin Fields if the Bears start losing games.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how long their leash is and how much they're really going to commit to him sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. I think Adessa said it right though, and that's kind of like my point of view. I like with the whole comparison to saying. So again, to kind of reiterate what the Bears are doing. Their head coach was the Chiefs' offensive coordinator at the time when we had the Alex Smith transition to Patrick Mahomes. So now they're saying, okay, maybe we can try that same transition in Chicago in terms of Andy Dalton to Justin Fields. The issue is, and the different thing though, is that Alex Smith is actually a decent quarterback. He's had a better career. He's had a better career than Andy Dalton. He's a better passer. He has better pocket awareness. He's a better quarterback, and I think his ceiling was higher than Andy Dalton's is, and I just don't think it's a good comparison. Yeah, and I remember when the Chiefs announced they were going to cut Alex Smith and release Alex Smith, and then start Patrick Mahomes the next year. I was like, I don't know, man. We went 12-4 last year. We went to the playoffs. Like, are we doing the right thing here? And then it ended up being a great move, obviously for obvious reasons. But I think in this indication, and you're playing Patrick Mahomes. I think I would be shocked if Justin Fields reaches the heights that Patrick Mahomes does, and also Andy Dalton isn't the quarterback that Alex Smith was. I do think in Chicago, I think the right move, and what I would do as a head coach, if you want to win now, I think he's a mobile quarterback. I think he can overcome the adversity in terms of the poor offensive line. I would go ahead and start Justin Fields over Andy Dalton. I think it gives you a better chance to win with a defense that can help you out and get you in positions to score. So.
Absolutely, I agree. And if you guys haven't seen it, go look at some Justin Fields highlights from this preseason. And, like, granted, he's playing against 2s and 3s when he's in the game, but, like, he had some passes that, like, dropped my jaw a little bit. Like, he had some amazing touch, accuracy, precision, he also is, like Swag said, very mobile, can make plays with his legs. I think his experience level isn't there, but I think his just overall tool set as far as, his ability to play football, I think is just already probably higher than what Andy Dalton can do.
Yeah, I mean, to make the throws, I kind of see him as a like a souped up Dak Prescott in terms of ceiling wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
honestly,
yeah, like mobile. Obviously a bit bigger quarterback. Maybe some elements of Ben Roethlisberger in there. But just move around a little more athletic.
I think here's the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about. And I'm trying as hard as I can. I can't tell you any of like the big names on Chicago's offense. Like, they don't have Alshon Jeffrey anymore. Their running backs aren't like great. Like,
they have
who does he even really have to throw to?
They have hold on, let's look it up.
Because I'm legitimately serious. I'm sitting here trying to think of the name of their number 1 wide receiver, and I can't think of it.
They have chat probably knows. Let's see, depth chart. So they have Allen Robinson's good, Marquise Goodwin, David Montgomery is decent. Damian Williams is there now, which is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they have Cole Kmet at tight end. Jimmy Graham is the backup there now, which is interesting. Yeah, their offensive line, I don't know none of the names look familiar, but yeah. Allen Robinson II is pretty good quarterback, or pretty good wide receiver.
But I mean, like, so they're running out there with what?
Yes.
An average offensive line at best, probably. And then, I mean, other than one receiver with a decent name,
Right.
pretty much a lot of unknowns or like older veterans. You know what I mean? Like, in that scenario, I can also see wanting to give Justin Fields a little bit more time because, you know, he's not going out there with Tampa Bay's offense or Kansas City's offense. You know what I mean? He
Right.
doesn't have all stars to throw to, so I
Right.
think that might also be a part of it.
Um,
Do they still have what was that really fast running back that they had that also returned kicks? He was actually pretty electric for
Devin
a little while.
Hester?
No, not Devin Hester. It was after him. Oh, man, what was his name?
Cohen? Tariq
Yes,
Cohen?
Tariq Cohen. Thank you. Yes. Do they still have Tariq Cohen?
No, I don't know where he's at now. He might. I don't know where Tariq Cohen is at now. That's a good question. Can I have s'mores, please? Okay, and then I kind of wanted to go into. So next chat, just got give you guys a timeline. So the podcast YARD39 will probably be about an hour and a half every time we do it. So to on the schedule for the rest of the day, so we're going to talk about Carson Wentz and the Colts. We're going to go into week 1 matchups we're excited for, and then we're going to do the pick'ems. The Bears. But Carson Wentz and the Colts. Lance, I just wanted to get your opinion on Carson Wentz overall. How good he's going to be for the Colts, if he's going to have become an elite quarterback again in your eyes, and also if you want to go in and give Chad a little context on what we're talking about here as well.
Absolutely. So Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. After a few years in a row of getting hurt and more or less underperforming, they decided to part ways. They have a new young quarterback they're excited about in Jalen Hurts. And so they decided to cut ties with Carson a year after signing him to like a $150 million deal. He didn't really stick through that project very long. But so Carson Wentz ends up getting picked up by the Indianapolis Colts. Their current head coach, Frank Reich, was the offensive coordinator the year that Carson Wentz had his best year he ever had in the league. He was actually on an MVP pace that year before he unfortunately got hurt.
Dude, I thought he was awesome.
He was doing really, really well that year. So, as far as how I think he's going to perform this year, assuming that he has, really good play calling and a connection with Frank Reich because they have, a lot of chemistry together, I wouldn't be surprised if he had, his best year in a few years. But T.Y. Hilton, their starting wide receiver, unfortunately, who's very, very good. He just got a really bad neck injury. He's going to be starting the year out on IR. So he's down his best receiver already. They still have a fantastic offensive line led by Quentin Nelson, who's probably the best guard in football. Jonathan Taylor is a really good running back. So I mean, they still have weapons and they still have some firepower.
Is Pittman Jr. a rookie?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as like their division and stuff goes, I would assume that the Tennessee Titans are going to win it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts were, a wild card team. I think they can definitely still make the playoffs. They're the second best team in that division for sure.
Yeah.
I would expect him to have, maybe not his best year. He's probably not going to be on MVP pace like he was 3 or 4 years ago in Philadelphia, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he had his, best year since then, for sure.
Yeah. I just don't think he's that good. I think the evidence of that is last year when the Eagles eventually benched him for Jalen Hurts. And Hurts played better than he did as a rookie. Although I think he's a lot more athletic. I think he was I don't think the offensive line for Philadelphia was great overall. But they had a decent team, and they're at least more exciting and more competitive under Jalen Hurts and at quarterback than Carson Wentz is. Like Carson Wentz is just like every game you'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Like watching this guy, just inaccurate throwing on the run, holding the ball too long, getting stacked, just poor quarterback play.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to pose a question to
Sure,
you.
sure.
So, like, Philly has had like a crazy amount of injuries over the last couple years as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you remember there was a stretch of like 4 or 5 games at the end of like last season or maybe the season before where he was throwing to 3s and 4s and like people that they were bringing up off the practice squad. So, how much do you look at his stats and his poor play as just like the roster around him not being good?
I think it contributes to it. I think it's the quarterback's job to elevate, the people around him and the players around him. I think that's what an elite quarterback can do. And I think that was, I think that was evidence that, gosh, guys, I got to go. Gigs, you have a wonderful day. We'll holler at you later. Thanks, Gigs.
My giggles.
Yeah, I think the evidence is there that he wasn't able to do that. And just being. And as far as a locker room leader, going back to when Nick Foles is there, the players apparently liked playing better for Nick Foles than they did Carson Wentz, which I would argue that Carson Wentz's ceiling is probably higher, but it sounds like he can't really reach that, and people don't really like to rally around him, and he doesn't really have that leadership mentality as a quarterback. I don't know. I just don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that great of a leader. I think he's a average starting quarterback at best at this point in his career, and I don't think he's going to lead the Colts that far. I would guess the Colts will probably have a 9-8 type of season, maybe. They have a
Their defense is still really
yeah.
good,
They have a pretty stout defense. They do have some players. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a great running back. He showed a lot of promise last year. I think he can have a really great season. Don't they? Oh, no. Sorry, I was thinking about the Eagles. But overall, I don't see them doing too much damage in the AFC and in the league.
I'm not one of those guys that likes to like make excuses or whatever, but I also just I try to put myself in his shoes, you know what I mean? In the sense of like his best year, he got hurt and his team went on and won the Super Bowl, right? And they built a statue outside of the stadium, but it's of the backup quarterback, the guy that took his job. You know what I mean?
Wow. Can you imagine going to fucking work?
That's exactly what I was about to say, dude. Like, what do you think that did to his psychological state? Like, that's got to affect the way you feel every day going into that building. You know what I mean? And
right.
Then, the statue that's outside that place is of the backup quarterback and the head coach, neither of which are there anymore.
Right.
Like, that's a really rough situation to be in, man. And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy, but that's got to be rough. I don't know how like my mental state would be if I had to deal with a situation like that.
That would be rough. Yeah, that would be tough. This year will be a telling tale. I mean, this is a career defining year for Carson Wentz. He's aware of that, so it'll be interesting to see what happens and ultimately how far these guys go or how far he can take himself, because if he plays poorly this year, the Colts will go get a quarterback in the draft. I don't think
I think so too.
I don't think they'll wait up on him. I don't know. I can't remember the type of deal they gave him, or what that looks like, but
I don't remember off the top of my head either.
Yeah, so
I don't think it was a 1-year deal though. I think it was a multi-year deal.
It probably is.
I think it was for 3 or 4 years if I remember correctly. But yeah, the actual numbers are escaping me.
I mean, maybe they'll be stuck with him for a while. We'll see. Matt, welcome in though. Guys, if you're just now tuning in, by the way, this is a little bit different than something you might be used to. This is YARD39, a football-inspired podcast hosted by, of course, Lancelot Gaming and myself. We'll be doing this hopefully once a week, and just kind of popping up and talking about football and talking about what's going on with it. The season starts this Thursday, so it was important that we got it going today or before at least Thursday at the latest.
Right.
But yeah, we're excited about the league. We're just going over a variety of topics currently. We have two more things to get to, and then we'll go ahead and we'll go from there. But are we ready to? Are we? Next thing is week one matchups we're excited for. What are your week one matchups you're excited? And then we can go into pick them.
Okay. So obviously the Cowboys Buccaneers game on Thursday Night Football. I think that'll just be interesting, just to start the season off.
Yeah.
I don't think the score will actually be close. I would imagine Tampa Bay's probably going to run away with that one. As far as games that I think are going to be really, really good or that I'm excited to watch coming out of the gate, the first one that pops out to me is Pittsburgh at Buffalo. That's probably going to be a really good game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would imagine, I'm excited to see what Pittsburgh does, man, coming off the year that they had. They're a little bit healthier than they were.
Yeah.
Are they still going to be a playoff team? They were the last unbeaten team in the league last year.
Yeah.
I think they went 11-0 before they lost a single game.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see, does Ben Roethlisberger still have it left? What that team is going to look like. So that's an exciting game for me. Green Bay and New Orleans, with the whole Aaron Rodgers controversy being what it was, I'm excited to see what that looks like in live action. And then what's New Orleans going to look like with Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback?
Yeah.
The Drew Brees era is over. That's going to be interesting to watch. I honestly don't know what to expect out of New Orleans anymore. I'm so used to them making deep playoff runs and all that stuff, but the last taste of Jameis Winston in my mouth is that 30-30 season he had as the starting quarterback in Tampa Bay. 30 touchdowns is great, but 30 interceptions is horrible.
Really bad.
So
that's really bad.
I don't know what that's going to look like. Hopefully Sean Payton, I guess, can whip him into shape. That'll definitely be interesting. And then it's going to sound like a homer pick, but obviously the number one game I'm excited for is Kansas City versus Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
Not just because I'm a Chiefs fan, though. It's a rematch of a playoff game from last year.
It was a close game, and yeah.
And, say what you want about the Browns. I know that they've been a laughing stock for decades and decades. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they've got a good roster. Baker Mayfield's starting to come to his own. Their defense might be one of the scariest defenses in all of football this year, led by Myles Garrett. Odell Beckham should be healthy. They've got great weapons. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, might be the best 1-2 punch running back combination in the entire league.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be rough. It's also going to be Kareem Hunt's first game back in Kansas City after his, whole controversy.
Yeah.
And all that. So I'm also very, very excited to watch that. I think if I had to pick 3 games that stand out to me on this week's schedule, those would be it.
Okay.
But you, man, what do you think?
So I think the games that stand out to me currently would be let's see. I think the Cowboys-Bucks game is going to be a really good one. I'm excited to see kind of how the Cowboys come out, and if they can. I mean, because if the Cowboys are going to make a run in the NFC and do anything this year, they're going to have to get through the Buccaneers, and I think that's a big game. But I think it's a statement game for both teams, right? The Cowboys have heavy expectations as always, and
being America's team,
and I think the Bucks, coming off the Super Bowl, we'll see what they can do, and if they can come out of the gate firing again, because last year it took them a little while to get things really rolling the way they wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is Tom Brady's year too. He's had an off season, he's had OTAs, he's had training camp, and some time to really kind of mesh with his receivers in offense. So I think that offense will be pretty potent. Another game that kind of really sticks out for me, which I'm interested to see, I think Cardinals at Titans. Going to be another great game.
That should actually be a good one.
I think the Cardinals, just getting AJ Green. They have the quarterback. Kyler Murray. I think he's on the rise. I think he's going to have a great NFL career. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is there, another probably the best receiver in the NFL right now, if not top three. And just more time to mesh in that offense. It's year 3 for him in the league, and I'm excited to see what they can do and how good they're going to be against the Titans, who's stout on both sides of the ball. They have a pretty good defense. They really swarm the ball well, and they have Vrabel there, so he's a defensive minded coach. On offense, obviously they have the big boy at running back. Again, I forget
Derrick
names.
Henry.
Derrick Henry right now, who's
no problem. I got you, my guy.
Thank you. Who's been killing it. Again, has gone up in yards every single year for the past 3 or 4 years. Has been really doing great there.
Coming off a 2,000-yard season.
And their receiver core is good. They already had the one kid, AJ Brown, and they just picked up Julio Jones.
That's scary.
That's scary. So, AJ Brown along with Julio Jones is gonna be fire. So I think Tannehill, he's accurate. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's good. I think he's decent. So we'll see what they can do. I think that's gonna be a great game. And again, my last game that I'm looking forward to again is Chiefs versus Browns. We have the revamped offensive line. I think it'll take them a couple of weeks to kind of really get together. I think they're playing against a stout defensive line to start. We don't have Sammy Watkins, who's I'm here or there on. Like he was great when he was available.
When he was available,
but he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't worth the money.
Banged up way too much.
He was banged up way too much. I think Mecole Hardman does have potential. We'll see what kind of receiver he can really turn into. This is his year to shine. Robinson is still there, who's a starting receiver, who get playing time for any team. Obviously, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill can do some things, and then it's Clyde's second year, and I expect him to really progress, be big in the passing game for Mahomes. And then Mahomes is healthy. He doesn't have turf toe anymore. He got surgery. And I expect to see a motivated Mahomes and someone who, we got our ass kicked in the Super Bowl. So I expect to see us do some things. So
that we're both Chiefs fans, let me ask you, our offensive line, basically completely new. What do you think?
I think it's good.
It's going to take some time to gel, or do you think we're just going to come out firing?
I think it's going to take some time to gel. I think Long is going to be a great addition. We're starting three rookies. I'm pretty sure. Let me go to
Creed Humphrey at center, definitely.
Yeah, Humphrey at center. And then there was the kid. I think he basically redshirted because he
sat out last year for COVID. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't remember his name
Offensive. So Chiefs starting or Chiefs depth chart. Go to this. So
bringing LDT back.
Yeah,
that should be great.
So Creed Humphrey, Joe Dudley is going to be good. Niang, who was drafted. Yeah,
yep.
Trey Smith. But the pickup of Orlando Brown Jr. on the left tackle side is huge. To guard that left side is going to be really, really big for us. I think it's going to be a good offensive line, and we're deep. We have Andrew Wiley, Jordan Tardif is there. Again, Kyle Long is there still. Austin Blythe, and Mike Remmers, who's not the best, but he's not terrible.
My favorite thing about him is he's a swing tackle. He can play either side if we need it. So,
I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to see how all that kind of turns out. We saw Byron Pringles there.
Pringle made some good plays in the preseason too.
Yeah, so we have some depth. Blake Bell is there too, and Noah Gray is doing some things in the preseason. So I'm excited to see how the offense comes out firing. I think the defense is still going to be a little bit of a problem. Chris Jones is I think going to be stout. I think he's going to have a really good year. I'm interested to see what happens with Tyrann Mathieu. It's a season for him in which it's his last season potentially with the Chiefs, so he's gonna be looking for big money in the offseason or to get it extended, so it could be crazy. I'm excited to see Snead. I think he has potential. He played great last year for a rookie.
Yes,
hey, boss man, what's going on? And then Yeah, I mean, Willie Gay Jr. I think has a lot of potential. I think he can be really great for us. Um, Anthony
That's
Hitchens needs to go, but
hmm
overall, there's some promise. I think Frank Clark's is kind of ran his course, but we'll see. We'll see.
right. Willie Gay Jr. for everything that I heard coming out of the preseason and everything, and these are some big shoes to fill. But I heard comparisons to Derek Johnson,
Oh, okay.
just as far as his ability to read the defense, sideline to sideline
Yeah,
speed,
yeah,
good at getting through a hole, good awareness and everything.
right.
Obviously, he's still young, but if he lives up to the expectations that I've been hearing for him,
Yeah,
he could be a staple in the middle of our defense for years and years to come. So I'm
hopefully.
excited to see him develop.
Yeah. Um, and on the Browns side again, yeah, their Baker Mayfield had a great season last year. God, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they're like, it was, I can't remember the statistic, but basically it was saying that there was 93 teams that had the same stat. All of the teams had a losing record outside of them, due
hmm
to it was amount of luck per the stats, and the stat pointed that
Okay.
out. I can't remember what the stat was. It was like margin of victory or whatever it was. I think that might have been it. But just won a lot of really, really close games last year. I do think that Baker Mayfield couldn't be any more set up to be successful. Has a great offensive line, both
Absolutely.
passing and running the ball. They have two stout running backs there. Great receivers. I don't think I think the offense is set. I think you put any good quarterback in there, and they're gonna look great. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But there is some NFL insiders who do think the Cleveland will regress this year. I'm excited to see what happens. Um,
I
you,
completely agree.
Myles Garrett on the defensive side, that defense is stout. Their front seven's really good, and their secondary is solid. So I think that would be my game three. But you ready to do
Speaking of
pick'ems?
that,
Oh, good.
I don't know if you watched the top 100 this year, but Patrick Mahomes was voted
I
by
did
his
see
peers
that.
the number one player in the NFL. And during that section, at the very end of it, they did an interview with Miles Garrett,
Yeah.
and he said that he wants revenge for that playoff game, and he knows that they're going to have to go through Kansas City to make the Super Bowl, and he's excited to take on the challenge of trying to get Patrick in Week 1. So
That vi-
this matchup has really really good potential.
that video was great because it basically just threw all the receivers under the bus for dropping all those picks and all those passes in the Super Bowl.
Dude, it's so hard for me to watch when you, especially that throw. Patrick's
Yeah.
literally parallel to the ground,
Yeah.
still throws a ball pinpoint accuracy 30 yards downfield in the end zone, bounces right off the dude's face mask. I just
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
what more can you do? Like,
Yeah.
if
No.
that's not a
Exactly.
Superman play, like, I don't know what is.
Right.
That's so rough.
Um. Cool. You ready? I could do that easy, no problem. Ruby, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Ruby's an
Absolutely.
all-star.
Um. All right. Are we ready to do pick'ems to wrap up the stream?
Yes, I
The
think
podcast. Okay. Cool. All right. Code. Are you ready? Ready. Ish. All right.
so.
So, Code, game one is going to be the Cowboys versus the Bucks. We already did our pick'em here, but just to reiterate it, and I'll take my time here. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Bucks over the Cowboys. I'm gonna say 28-17. Bucks is what I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
Lance?
I'll be completely honest with you. I think it's going to be a little bit more one-sided than that.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, the Cowboys just don't have a good team. So I'm going to go Buccaneers over Cowboys. I'd think like 31-14.
Yeah, I think only 28. Maybe more. I mean, that defense is pretty bad, but
It's pretty bad, dude.
we'll see what happens. What are these numbers?
Maybe all their young rookies that they drafted and everything can make that big of a difference, but I'm not going to believe it until I see it personally.
They drafted eight players on the defense this year, so we'll see what happens.
Which, yeah, and I mean, like, if they all live up to their expectations and their potential and everything, yeah,
Right.
like maybe it'll be a big improvement. But
Right.
to lean that heavily on so many rookies, at least the start of the season, maybe around midway, their defense can pick up, but that's a tall task going against Brady in that offense game 1. So
You can't start the
I'm
poll.
thinking a mini blowout.
Okay. Can't start the poll. And Ruby, in chat for the instance, so what we're doing right now, if you're curious, so these are the games that are happening. So the first game is the Cowboys versus the Bucks. We both said the Bucks are going to win. I said the Bucks would win. They would score 28 points to the Cowboys 17 is what I'm predicting. So I'm just
final scores.
Yeah, final scores. So just predicting that. Codex, what's the question and responses? I'm not sure what context you're saying that in, Ruby. It won't let me do it. No worries. I mean, we don't have to do it this month. But yeah, chat. If you guys want to tell us who you think is gonna win, that would be great.
Yeah, you can just enter your numbers in
we
the
can
chat if you want.
We can just do it that way this time. So chat, who do you guys think is gonna win? Buccaneers, Cowboys, game 1. I think we know Zero is gonna win, or we think Zero thinks the Bucks are gonna go ahead and win. It'll be, you said 28 to what, Swag?
Your pick is 28 to 17.
Yeah.
You love technical difficulties.
It happens. Sports. Yo, that's actually pretty good though. I'll give that to you.
I actually really like that.
So
Code, I said 31 to 14 was my final score. Oh, and I picked the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah. So we both picked Bucks. Rosie, welcome in.
Rosie.
Yeah. So in the poll, if you guys can do it, the only thing the poll should say, who do you think is going to win, Bucks or Cowboys? Our score should affect it.
Yeah, you don't need to put in a score.
Yeah. Who's finna win? Let me see what they put on here. Yeah, there we go. The Bucks, Cowboys.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, why would... I don't know.
Twitch has been being stupid for me the last couple days too.
Swagathy? I did a thing.
Swagathy. I like that.
Ruby, you can hand a polls. I see you. Let's go, Ruby. I see you. I'm doing their scores. Codex, you're the best. Thank you. So we'll wait a second, but yeah, I think that's an exciting game. Again, that game probably starts at, I don't know what time. It says
6:30 Eastern, I want to say.
It's 6:20 Mountain Standard Time. So for
you,
that's
okay. So it's 8:20 Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said Bucks because I like money. What? Okay.
Bucks,
Okay. That's okay.
Great, fantastic pun there, Rosie.
We're so proud. All right, we'll let this poll go down a little more. So far, 4 for the Bucks, 0 for the Cowboys. I think everybody's on the same page there. No faith in the Cowboys. Okay, next, Bucks win for chat. Can we end that poll? Yeah, I'll put my vote in there too. I don't know sports. Just vote for the Chiefs and you'll be alright.
Exactly. Strong mindset.
All right, guys. So the next poll is going to be, so between the Eagles and the Falcons. This actually should be an interesting game. Eagles at Falcons, starting at 11 a.m. on Sunday Mountain Standard Time. Obviously, there's different time zones, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick. I'm gonna give it to the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts might do a little bit of something to start.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna give it to the Eagles in saying Jalen Hurts is gonna use his athletic ability to overcome and overpower the Falcons week 1.
Okay. Do we want to wait to get this next poll up before I go? So there's a little bit of time to get on there.
Yeah, we'll get the poll up. So yeah, guys, next poll is Eagles versus Falcons. We want to see who you think would win. Eagles versus Falcons.
This is all a work in progress. We'll get this stuff hammered out.
Yeah. Now who's gonna win this one? still
All
a lot of
right.
these, by the way.
So I'm gonna pick the Falcons. Honestly, I just think they have a better roster. I still like Matt Ryan as a quarterback. He's he's not on an MVP pace like he was a few years ago when they made the Super Bowl, but as far as my eye test, I still think he's probably better than Jalen Hurts is right now. He still has some learning to grow, and I think they have a better overall roster. And I'm a little bit confident on their new head coach, Arthur Blank. I think.
Yeah.
See how he runs the team. I also loved their draft pick. What was the tight end's name?
Oh, they have
The young rookie tight end that they drafted, who was so high on everybody's boards. Now his name is escaping me, but anyway, I think he's gonna be great. Kyle Pitts.
Kyle
That was
Pitts.
it.
Yep.
There we go. I think that's a great pick. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons, and if I had to give a score, that's probably going to be a closer game. I'll say 24-21 Falcons.
Yeah. Okay. Who's chat? I mean, okay, so let's catch up in chat. I went bar hopping with Cyber last night. Everyone was like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, video games. I don't do sports." Code. I think the score is going to be 24 Eagles, 14 Falcons.
Ooh, okay.
Swagger, Iceman, what's up? What's good, baby?
Also, Rosie, I'm just very happy that you didn't call yourself like a Twitch influencer. Don't ever use that word. I hate it when people call themselves influencers.
I see. I mean, in a fight, I think Falcons win because they have longer claws. However, Eagles do have superior eyesight, so that could come into play. I should probably not be voting. Austin Booker, swag scorer, swagger. Never mind. I was thinking Austin Hooper. My bad. I see. I would say, despite using the wrong equation, I'm still coming with the right answer. So I don't know. Okay.
Rosie
right.
out here just spitting facts.
All right, Code Ruby. The next game we're looking at is Steelers versus Bills. I'll let you guys put that poll up. We don't have to do all of these games, I guess. This is a lot of games. 16 games. Round 3 fight.
I only see 6 games in the group that Codex has us in.
No, there's 16 games week 1.
Well, yeah, but as far as the pick'ems go, she only put 6 in here.
Oh, okay. You missed the Browns and Chiefs. Yeah, we'll do 2 more and then we'll do Browns and Chiefs if we want. We don't do all of them.
Yeah, save that for the end. Yeah.
Okay, so oh man, you taking the Eagles? You think the Eagles take the Falcons? I do. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Steelers versus Bills, week 1. I think the Bills are potent. I do think they have a great offense. I am a believer in what's his face, Josh Allen, their quarterback. I think he's going to take another step forward. I think he's going to be a rise to the elite. I don't think the Steelers are that good. I don't think they have the good offensive line. I think Big Ben is getting washed up, although I do think he'll start okay. I'm going to go ahead and take Bills 21-10 over the Steelers.
I really don't have anything left to add to that. I think you pretty much nailed it. The Bills are, probably the second best team in the league in the AFC after Kansas City. Cleveland's probably up there too, but I think this one's kind of a wash. I don't really think that they have much of a chance of keeping up, and I would say, it's probably 24-10, 24-13. I'll go 24-13. Give Pittsburgh a little bit more credit.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be that close.
Iceman says Steelers are going to take this one. Bills going to be a slow start this year, but they will be better. All right, so what does Chad think? So we had 2 votes for the Bills, 0 votes for the Steelers, but Iceman did say Steelers. Just call them the poo-poo team. What? Oh, okay. No, I don't believe. Great job here, guys.
Quality content.
Quality content. That's what we focus here on the Flex Fam. I put an Iceman's pick. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we'll do two more. What other one does Code have there?
Vikings Bengals is the next one on your list.
We can pick that one. Sure. Why not? All right, so the next one, Vikings versus Bengals. I'll let you start this one, Lance.
All right. This one, I mean, this one seems pretty one-sided. Maybe the most one-sided, well, other than the Bucks Cowboys, I guess. But this one's also pretty one-sided. Cincinnati, you know, they're kind of the new Browns in the sense of like when you think of a bad team in the league, it's pretty much the Cincinnati Bengals are pretty down there with like the Jets, I guess. But we're gonna have to see how they do. Their roster just doesn't really impress me. I think Minnesota takes this one pretty easily. Kirk Cousins, you know, not the best quarterback in the world, but he has a lot of experience. He's won multiple playoff games. You know, they're still a good team. I think this one's pretty easy. I'm gonna go Minnesota 27, Cincinnati 10. I am excited to see, you know, Joe Burrow back from his horrible ACL tear that he had last year, but I just don't have much confidence in them as a team. So yeah, I'm gonna go 27-10 Minnesota.
He's saying 27-10 Vikings over Bengals. Good.
Yes.
Sorry, Mobile. Iceman's pick. I agree. Chiefs are probably number one AFC, but I think it's going to be number two. Tigers are way cooler than Vikings. Obviously, Vikings. What is a bracelet going to do against a whole ass Viking? Oh my god. Okay. Oh, Bengal Tiger. Yeah. Yeah. The Cincinnati bracelets are taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings on downward side with slow grade defense since he's starting to improve. You know, I'm going to go to another limb here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals. I'm a believer in Joe Burrow. Wow. I think Joe Mixon is there, and I think he's going to, you know, kind of have one of his best years. I think, I used to live in Minnesota. I just kind of don't like the Vikings. I'm probably being a little emotional here. I think they aren't very good. Yeah, they have a stout defense. They have the running back there, who is a stud. But overall, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the Bengals just because I don't like the Vikings. I'm gonna say 24-20.
Ooh, the chat's actually split on this one, 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Maybe you guys know something about the Bengals I don't.
Yeah. And last but not least, Code, are you ready? Or Ruby, are you ready? I think we're ready. And the Vikings are one of the first one. I got to have a Vikings. I do have both here. So Chiefs versus Browns, week 1, Sunday afternoon for me. 2:25 here. Mountain Standard Time. Lance, take it away. Who do you think's gonna win? I have an idea, but
yeah, you probably have a good theory who I'm gonna pick. I am gonna go with Kansas City. I think. I mean, really, what do I need to say? We already beat Cleveland in the playoffs last year. That was with a hobbled offensive line and with a injured Patrick Mahomes, who didn't even finish that game, and we still ended up winning. Cleveland is good. Don't get me wrong. Like I already said, they have a great defense, a great roster in general. But I think it being at home, Patrick being fully healthy, and a completely revamped offensive line, I think Kansas City's got this one. I expect it to still be a very good game. This one, I think, will be close. I think it'll be a nail-biter, but I definitely expect Kansas City to win. I'm going to go 31-27 Chiefs.
31-27 Chiefs. Wow, okay. All right. Yeah, I echo a lot of your thoughts. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Browns have a defense to be reckoned with, but I think if Patrick Mahomes is going to work his magic and work his way out of a lot of that, right? I think he's just too mobile. I think he's too acrobatic, and I think he's a magician on the field. I think he'll be able to get I think he's going to be able to get away from that pass rush, and give our receivers enough time to be open, which isn't a lot. I mean, with Travis Kelce being healthy, Tyreek Hill being healthy, good offensive line with plenty of time to throw. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick Chiefs. I'm going to be a little more lopsided. I think the Chiefs are going to win 35-17.
35-17. Okay.
Yeah.
Steamroll them.
Yep. I think the Chiefs come out firing. I think that forces the Browns to, if they get behind, I think that forces the Browns to throw, takes away their running game, and I think they make mistakes because they're relying on Baker Mayfield to win the game at that point. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. I hope you're more right than I am on this one.
Zodiac Sports Ball. But yeah, guys, that kind of concludes it. We think we have 6 for the Chiefs. Is it no votes for the no? Okay, I love it. You love to see it.
You do love to see it.
Wow, I mean, hey, we had an episode of YARD39.
Yeah,
that was
I
awesome.
think it went great, man.
That was awesome.
I had a lot of fun.
I had a great time. Look at the chat I made. One more.
Yeah, Code does have one more game down here, actually.
Okay, what's the next game? I gotta use the restroom super quick, so I'll let you take this one.
Oh yeah,
to start it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, go do your thing. We'll wait for the poll to get up here, but the last game that we're going to pick is the 49ers versus the Detroit Lions. No worry, Code, I got you. 49ers versus the Detroit Lions. This makes me sad because I know that there's, I have quite a few friends that are Lions fans. I really don't see this one being that close. San Francisco's just assuming that they're completely healthy, which as of right now they are. They have one of the best rosters in the league. Last year was really sad for them with all the injuries that they got and everything. Jimmy G just can't stay healthy, but hopefully that'll be better this year. But I mean, if San Francisco's fully healthy, which they should be, I think they kind of dog walk the Lions. I just don't see them being very good.
This is kind of a lopsided game in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, what I was just saying, Swags, is that if the Niners are healthy, which they should be, this game's not going to be close. The only reason San Francisco did as bad last year as they did is just because they had so many horrible injuries. Like half their roster was banged up. It was really bad. But this one's incredibly lopsided. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the biggest blowout of the week. Actually,
yeah,
I'm gonna go like 34-10 San Francisco. Like I really don't think it'll be competitive.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and echo your thoughts here. The Detroit or the Lions just losing Matt Stafford, and I just don't see them being all that competitive. I think Detroit's gonna have a really down year as usual. I'm gonna go ahead and say Niners. I don't know, 28 to 10. So,
yeah,
I don't think
I definitely don't think it's going to be very competitive.
Hot take. Okay, here Iceman goes. The Lions will be improved without Stafford. With what's his face under center? I don't know.
That's actually funny. I'm blanking on his name too. I know he was the starting quarterback for the Rams last year. Why can't I think of his name?
It is Jared Goff.
I'm like a name guy. That's usually one thing that I'm good at remembering. Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. I think the Lions were bad when Matt Stafford was there, and I think Stafford's a better quarterback than Goff, right? So I don't see how they would possibly be improved with Jared Goff there over Matt Stafford.
I just don't see it either. Yeah, the Niners just have a defense, so in a decent offense, they have some playmakers, so do different types of threes. It's a 9, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Guys, that's going to go and conclude the first podcast of YARD39. Thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and raid somebody super quick. But Lance, any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Swags, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to do this every week.
Yeah.
Just getting to, another opportunity to talk about what I think is both of our favorite
Yeah,
sports
yeah, for
and
sure.
chill with the homies. Everyone in chat, thank you so much for showing up and showing out. The support means the world for us.
Hmm.
I'll say it one more time in case you don't know who I am. I'm Lancelot Gaming. That's how you can find me on Twitch, on YouTube, and pretty much every other platform. Come check my content out if you like what I have to say here. And again, just thank you so much for being here and showing up and showing out.
Yeah, much love, dude. Thank you for doing this.